Welcome back to Sunday Vibes, everybody at home. Christopher Hamill, Patrick Van Straten and a lorry have decided to join us in the pub today. Apologies for that outside noise, not much we can do about it. Get over it. The first question comes from Axel Pedersen, who says, which European clubs have the best/worst owners? Now, we talked a little bit about this on Continental Club, didn't we?
We did.
Crystal Palace. Are there any others that spring to mind, Pato?
I think any owner with a plan is a good owner. So Roman Abramovich came in, spent a lot of money at Chelsea, but what he did really cleverly then is he got in people like Marina Granovskaya, who worked in his oil company back in Russia, and like that kind
What,
of
in a footballing position, was it?
Yeah, Marina Granovskaya, she's basically the chief executive. I can't remember what her actual job title is. And she's the one who's kind of turned them from a club which just spends so much money on players into a club which has a great academy, which finds players early on and loans them out, and actually sells players really smartly at really high prices. And as a result, Chelsea are now financially sustainable. They don't have to pump money in every now and then, and they've kept at the top of the Premier League for over a decade now. I think that's pretty damn good, and I think City are doing the same sort of thing, though on a much grander scale.
Yeah, Hamster.
Well, I can't look beyond Maurizio Samparini, the owner and chairman, or ex-chairman now. I think he resigned 5 months ago, of Palermo, who's gone through 40 managerial changes during his stewardship of the club, 8 of which were made last season alone. I think he said he wants to cut off his players' balls and eat them in a salad. He called Adrian Mutu a gypsy, not the greatest tact when you're trying to motivate the side. And despite them producing talent like Dybala, like Luca Toni, Cavani and Pastore, and actually investing heavily, they've won nothing. And the incoming chairman, his name escapes me, resigned after 5 months. Obviously, because of the ominous presence of Zamparini that still lingers over the club like a spectre as owner. He's the one that springs to mind. Obviously, you've got candidates in England such as Mike Ashley,
Mike
the guys
Ashley
who own Leyton Orient, who ran them into the ground. The fans are still in the midst of trying to get the club back under fan ownership, aren't they?
Sure.
But that's my answer.
Yeah, I think worst owners, you mentioned him slightly there, Mike Ashley has a legitimate shout at Newcastle. Obviously his Sports Direct empire that he apparently wants to turn into the new Sporting Selfridges is disgraceful. Some of the way he treats his staff there is really bad. And just generally how he conducts himself, I think, at Newcastle has been terrible.
Yeah. I mean, he has invested in the club, hasn't he?
He has invested.
And there has been moments of sort of steady ownership.
Yeah, but there's also been moments of
absolute
absolute chaos.
I feel like that's just Benitez, though, who's got them back up, to be honest.
And also, should they have been down in the first place, you'd say probably not. I think our managers under his stewardship average about 30% win rate, which isn't great. We won't even go into how some of the dodgy dealings at Rangers.
He deserves to be on this list purely because he gave Pardew an 8-year contract.
I mean, that was absolutely
Absolutely
mental.
insane.
I mean, the payoff when they sacked him must have been unbelievable. I mean, Peter Lim deserves a shout as well at Valencia.
Peter Lim, good shout.
He basically invited George Mendes in, which is like letting a vampire into your house.
Yeah,
like,
awful.
George Mendes immediately sucked all the life out of the club, rammed it full of his clients, and they almost went down, or at least they flirted with relegation.
And let's not forget, he also hired Gary Neville, which was not the smartest managerial move, to hire a pundit who'd never had a full managerial job, didn't speak the language.
Who is the?
Ideal.
Who is one? I think he's one of the first team coaches, or he was an assistant manager. Who is that interim coach who just keeps coming in for Valencia? His name escapes me. He does the job for them.
Why does he keep coming in?
It's like one name.
And he's got a very large cranium.
It's like Pikachu.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for him, they probably would have gone down last season. Yeah.
In terms of best, I think Sheikh Mansour at Man City has a legitimate shout. Over the last few years, anyway.
Worst?
As one of the best.
Oh, best.
Massive investment. He's made them a truly, properly global brand now. I think they own, 4 or 5 teams, that sort of Manchester City franchising that he's trying to implement. He's got Pep Guardiola through the door. He's won titles with them. There's not much more Sheikh Mansour can do.
Right? Yeah. They can afford to have a vision because they have so much money at their disposal.
Yeah.
A little bit like Red Bull. I mean, what they've done with Salzburg over the last 7 or 8 years is phenomenal. And it was even very, very tactful going for a club in East Germany, wasn't it? I don't think East Germany has had a club in the first division of German football since around '94. So they've revitalised the region, they've got a hardcore following as a result. Obviously trade well between clubs, don't they? Naby Keita coming from Salzburg to Red Bull. I think they obviously own New York as well, don't they? There's Red Bull Brazil and Red Bull someone else.
Austria, Vienna? They've got one, I think, in Uruguay. They've got one in Ghana.
Obviously,
they've got Salzburg in Austria. Yeah, they've got clubs all over the
so
place.
while that sort of mode of ownership isn't popular amongst the traditionalist German fans, they are doing it well, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Recruiting well. Got Ralf Rangnick as the sporting director, all good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Who do you think is the best and worst owner in football, though? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down there. Next question comes from Ben Reed 2020. This guy's got good vision. See what I did there? Just that joke really landed. Really did well. Anyway, his question says, can Man City be the best team in the world in the next 3 years? Now this...
Short answer is yes, surely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're one centre-back away from being an extremely well-rounded side. Benjamin Mendy going from strength to strength. Kyle Walker obviously gets up and down the pitch well. Otamendi, John Stones and Vincent Kompany, not a bad centre-back pool, but without Vincent Kompany's steady hand over the course of the season, are liable to concede the odd shocker, aren't they? I mean, the front line is absolutely disgusting. Bernardo Silva can't get a game. Is he the long-term heir to David Silva, or are people just saying that because they share a name and are both diminutive little men? Maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe that's why David's shaved his hair, just to differentiate himself.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And when you've got people like Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling on the bench and performing well when they come in at the age they are at, that only bodes well for the future when they'll be demanding a first-team start.
I think they're potentially a centre-back and a centre-mid off of it. I think that central midfield-wise, they do have options there. Kevin De Bruyne is good in that role. David Silva being played in there as well, and obviously Fernandinho. Fernandinho, though, not getting any younger. And would you say that Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva's best position is an out-and-out central midfield? I'm not too sure. Maybe Pep Guardiola likes them because they are versatile.
Similar to the Kompany situation, if they had a fully fit Gundogan, I would say, okay, you don't need another central midfielder.
100%. But they don't.
As a result, I agree.
He's effectively made of glass, Gundogan, isn't he? Obviously, he got injured again against West Brom.
We don't know. Came straight through the back.
We don't know the extent.
That's a horrendous.
We don't know the extent of that injury yet, but fingers crossed he is okay. Vincent Kompany as well. Just can't be relied on anymore, Vincent Kompany. He's a fantastic defender, but you can't rely on him.
No. His cards are shot to bits, aren't they?
He's shot to pieces, like you say. So yeah, centre-back and a centre-mid. But I would say over the next 3 years, I don't think they can. And I think the reason for that is that I think Pep Guardiola will leave after next year.
No.
I don't. Do you see him staying for an extended period of time and actually building something there? I think he'll go after 3 years.
He said that he would. Or he said at least that he could see himself staying longer than he had done.
But Jose said he could see himself staying for 20 years.
Yeah, but Jose has never been a long-term manager, whereas I think that Pep here is trying to do a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Like Jose's goal is always to come in and get a team which is underperforming winning again, and he always does that. Then he tends to leave because after a while it gets a little bit toxic.
Yeah.
But he always does the thing he's there to do, which is win trophies. Okay.
Interesting.
Guardiola was brought in at Bayern to give them much more of a style, to kind of mould them for the next 5 to 10 years, and he's done that. He's given them, this pressing structure. He turned Jerome Boateng's career around.
100%.
Obviously Thiago Alcantara is going to be at the heart of that midfield until he's ancient, I imagine. So I think at Man City he accepts that it's a much bigger job. The thing is, when you look at their rivals, you see Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Juventus. I think we'd agree that
PSG maybe
PSG as well. Yeah, sorry. Those are like the principal rivals to them. I still think that PSG have got a significant gap in managerial quality. Between Guardiola and Emery. Even though I like Emery, I'm not sure they build their squad intelligently. Barca, don't know. Messi could leave. Imagine if Messi went to Man City next summer. Well, in that case,
then they are the best team in the world.
Yeah, in that case, I think they would be. I think Pep's still the best manager in the world.
And we talked about Man City's ownership structure in the previous question, didn't we? They've gone to great lengths to make sure that he has that support system around him. We've got Begiristain in the academy. He's brought several of the coaches that he's familiar with over, hasn't he? And I think he'll appreciate what he has at Manchester City when you compare it to his tenure at Barcelona, when he was acting as spokesperson, general manager, club scout. When he had to, that's why he experienced burnout, isn't it? Because he had to fulfil several roles, and he really locked horns with the ownership of the club. The setting, the academy, everything's tailor-made to Pep, as Pat says. The only thing is, are PSG going to continue buying in the same fashion? Are buying going to add to that already extremely strong squad? Yeah. Manchester City don't have that pedigree in Europe, which I think is important. But when you've got Gavi Jesus and Sergio Aguero up front,
I think also how Zidane does this season could have a big factor over that. If he can continue to grow a team like he's been doing over the last couple of years.
Well, he's locked them all down, that's only to long-term contracts.
He's locked them all down. Whether or not, he's obviously started the season quite poorly, but I think that'll obviously improve over the next couple of months, especially with Cristiano Ronaldo's return. But whether or not he can find a replacement for Ronaldo and then move him on in a reasonable fashion is going to have a big impact on whether City are the best team over the next 3 years. But if you guys think they can be, let us know in the poll up there. Can they be the best team in the next 3 years? Next question comes from Dominoes753.
Smash Dominoes.
Yeah, I would as well. Who's the best player in the Premier League? It's a simple one, but it's an effective one from Dominoes. Who wants to take the lead on this one, Pato?
Quickly before we start, what Dominoes piece did you go for though?
I go for...
Pepperoni Passion, New Yorker.
No, I go for the barbecue one, then I substitute in chorizo and jalapenos. I substitute out the...
I don't think it matters, so long as you've got that garlic and herb dip, they're all good.
When you get the extra large tub for a quid, best quid you can spend.
That's quality.
In the current market.
Agreed, but only
I'd kill someone to get that
only
recipe.
if you've got a deal on Dominoes. I don't
two for Tuesday or nothing.
You need a little coupon or it's...
Moving on.
Yeah,
let us know when you get your Dominoes.
Yeah, this is not sponsored by Dominoes.
Hashtag
ad. We're very poor, please, Dominoes.
Who's the best player in the Premier League, lads? It's a simple one. Chris.
I think relative to his position, for me it's Kevin De Bruyne. One of the chief creative players in the Premier League. I think he's created the most chances from open play, the second most chances from open play this season, that Manchester City squad, after David Silva, who's obviously also very close. Yeah. He could be maybe the best player Manchester City have had over a prolonged period of time. But
I think he's also got the most assists of any player in Europe since 2013.
That is massively impressive. But it's his tactical flexibility which, for me, makes him the best player. Okay. We've seen when Manchester City are struggling, he can come back deep, can't he, and start dictating play from his own half. He has just a fantastic skill set. It's a huge array of weapons at his disposal, doesn't it? That first time ball across the box to the back post, absolutely gorgeous. Can take set pieces. Is he both footed? And he's ginger, so he's done it all while having with a natural disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. Pato?
I mean, there are a few candidates here. Like, I actually think that relative to his position, De Bruyne isn't as good. Like, I think De Bruyne is definitely a shout for this, but I think that there are lots of other creators who have output relatively similar to his. His flexibility is amazing. That is unusual. But Eriksen, Neymar, Mkhitaryan, David Silva, Ozil. Well, a few of those are Premier League players.
Yeah,
and they produce the same number of chances per game as he does. I think what I'd say is more somebody like David De Gea. I think
that's a great shout.
I think David De Gea would get into any team in the world with the exception of one, maybe, which would be Bayern Munich. Obviously, he's not going to outperform at Juve, but for different reasons, not because of quality. So I think that he is, at worst, I think he's probably the second best in his position in the world. And I don't know how many players in the Premier League that's true of. I mean, there are other people as well. So,
good point.
So for instance, this player I'm about to say, he's not as talented as the others, but I think any squad would want him.
You're going to say Benjamin Mendy?
No, I'm going to say Moussa Dembele.
Oh,
like, is he as talented as those other guys? No, but is there any team in the world who wouldn't think, yeah, he'd be useful to have in our squad?
Like De Bruyne, he's got a really odd skill set, hasn't he? The way he can dribble past the man is pretty much unrivaled in Europe. I think he had the second or third highest completion rate in terms of dribbles completed to that he attempted last season. I think only Kondogbia topped it. But he played significantly less
the
time
octopus, they call him. He's always got a limb.
Yeah, I mean, Vertonghen was saying, you ask anyone around that Tottenham dressing room, and they will say that he is the best player at the club.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Intelligence, skill, versatility. I just think he's got all those things that you'd want if you were a manager. And even Real Madrid, we all agreed they've got the best midfield in the world. Yeah. I still think he'd be a useful player for them to have in the squad. He could play as a 6, he could play box to box. I think he'd be great.
Yeah, 100%. For me, I think David De Gea is the second best in the world, and like Pato said, there's no other second best player in the world in that position in the Premier League. I actually think Eden Hazard is right up there with a shout. On his day, especially.
I think I said he was top 20 in the live stream yesterday, which is odd.
He's a game changer, an absolute game changer. Like, he can, if he is on it, he'll win you a match. And I don't think you can say that of many other players in the Premier League.
But when he's bad though.
He is bad,
and that's what I'm thinking of, like consistency. Like, in a way, like a player like Willian, is he as talented as Hazard? No, he's more consistent.
But are we taking players at their very best and at their most effective?
Yeah, I think so. You've got to.
I don't know. Who's the best player in the Premier League is to me somebody who's putting out high quality of performances very consistently, which is why I think De Bruyne is a great shout. He's never bad.
If that's the case, Harry Kane has to be in with a shout. He consistently performs for Tottenham Hotspur, scores nearly every single game. I don't know what more Harry Kane can do at this stage.
He scored as many goals in 2017 as Cristiano Ronaldo.
What more can Harry Kane do at this stage to progress his career? He's almost at his limit at Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, there is a nice debate to be had, maybe at another time, whether he has to leave Spurs to be considered a world-class player across the continent. I think everyone in England would say he's a world-class player, but I actually like Eden Hazard. 15 goals, X amount of assists last season, one of Europe's chief dribblers, goes past his man 5 times a game. Not many people get you on the edge of your seat like an informed Eden Hazard as well.
Yeah, I agree, but who do you think is the best player in the entire Premier League? Let us know what you think in the comments down there.
I appreciate that.
Final question of the day comes from Kieran Farry, who says, would you rather have Zidane's Madrid or Guardiola's Barcelona?
Controversial.
This is a great question. There's only one winner though, and it's definitely Guardiola's Barcelona.
Yeah, I think the purist goes with Pep's Barca. No. There's elements of that Real Madrid team which would probably make it into that side. Yeah. Maybe you could substitute out Pedro, Jordi Alba at left back, or Adriano Kane on occasion.
I think if you put the 11 on paper, 9 are Barcelona players from that team.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all. I don't think it's about individuals that made that Barcelona team great. I think it was like Pep as well. Yeah. Whereas actually, you look at this Real Madrid squad, and I think individual for individual, I prefer that one. But I also think that
no way, man.
Oh, come on! I prefer to watch Modric than Iniesta.
Oh, you're mad.
I prefer Modric to Iniesta.
I've never been so angry with you.
I actually think we should finish this question now.
It's boring.
No, 100%.
Luka Modric is a little genius, but Iniesta, he's out of this world.
Absolutely. You would have Dani Alves.
Modric has got big claims.
Dani Alves would be in there. Piqué would be in there. Or no, sorry, Puyol maybe. Puyol would be in there alongside Sergio Ramos. You'd have Marcelo. Then in midfield, you could not substitute any of Xavi, Iniesta or Busquets. Do not tell me that Kroos or Modric get in over Xavi or Iniesta.
Iniesta's the only one who can drop out there. Modric in for Iniesta, I think.
Let's not forget that
Xavi and Busquets are all-time greats.
Xavi was on the cusp of leaving that Barca side for AC Milan because he wasn't being utilised correctly. So when you say, I think Pep was a large part of what made those players better, there's a prime example. Maybe Toni Kroos at the end of his career will be comparable.
That midfield three won a World Cup.
Oh, I don't think Kroos will ever get near Xavi.
You can't change it. Unchangeable, that midfield three.
Yeah, I agree, but just playing devil's advocate.
And then up front, you'd have Messi.
You'd have Ronaldo,
and then it'd be tight for me between Benzema and Villa.
Really? I'd go for David Villa all day.
I mean, I would go for
I would
Villa
probably
as
go
well.
for just about Villa. So there it is. That's 9 of the 11.
I mean,
Barca
although if you're
players.
going to have those 3 up front, Benzema does compliment them well because he does do
does
the hard
all
yards,
well.
doesn't he? But,
Oh my God.
You had at least 3 there who Real Madrid
No.
played. Marcelo, Ramos, Ronaldo, already 3.
Oh,
Idiot.
yeah.
Maths.
My maths is not my strong point.
So, I don't know, do you guys agree? Let us know in the comments below. Something.
Iniesta.
It's not.
Modric over Iniesta.
Yeah.
You're insane.
Modric is more important than Iniesta.
Right, end board.
Do you
let's
think
go.
Iniesta is an all-time great?
Yes.
Oh, you're wrong. You're super wrong.
Best centre mid of all time.
What? He's not even. He's the 3rd best midfielder in that midfield of Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Are you serious? Are you serious? It goes Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta. Are you serious? You've got fucking wrong.
Right, let's just finish this.
Casemiro.
So that's all we've got time for on today's episode of Sunday Vibes. If you want to be involved next week, bang your question in the comments below with the hashtag Sunday Vibes, or why not send it to us on Twitter as well, lads?
Why not?
What else is happening?
Spam us. We've got 90+1 Facts. That's our new channel in the Football Daily
What's it about?
family. It's about different topics every week, mate. That's what it
Who's
is.
in this week,
91 facts, mate.
We've got FIFA coming up soon. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo. He's out. I believe he would have gone live 2 days ago, so check that out now. Everything you could possibly want to know about your favourite teams, competitions, players, check it out.
Oh, well. Stat Wars The Champions, the first quarter-final game, featuring this man to my left and John Babb, was staged yesterday on Euro Football Daily. Went live at 11 o'clock. If you haven't already watched it, then go and watch it again.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you later. Goodbye.